All right, we're gonna use this. It's called a coil extruder. Basically just an extruder. It has a large handle here that works to push down. Like this actually will push the clay down, okay? It is a little difficult to operate. You might need to have 2 people to do this. I recommend like a partnering situation. So what you're gonna start to do first is to put the bottom here on there. So we have 4 clamps, and I always keep everything right next to the extruder. We have this, this is the actual holder. These are the coil holes. So these are this is basically like a die cut. So you can choose what size coil you want. I'm gonna go ahead and choose to, let's see here. I'm gonna actually cover the largest one. I feel like is a little big for what I wanna do. And so I'm just gonna use this like this as like a block, okay? We don't have 2 blocks, but honestly, those are kind of handy to have those size. So then you come over here, and Aman, you're gonna assist me. I hope you don't mind. You're gonna come over here. This is where you need the 2 people. So you're going to hold that up and into place. And you're just gonna hold it while I put the clamps on. You need 4 clamps for this, 1 in each corner. So the clamps work like this. Come a little closer so you can see. So they actually, you shouldn't have to screw them down really far. You should be able to just kind of like sneak it up and in and onto each corner, and then tighten down by working in a clockwise rotation. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. We want to do that on all 4 sides. So I like to go with diagonals. And once you get 1 clamp on, your helper can kind of step away. All right, so we're going to clamp this right here. Same way. Actually, Aman, can you grab a clamp and do a side? Go ahead and just kind of see if you can slide that one into the corner. You might have to unscrew it just a little bit because it looks a little tight. Yeah, you got it. Make sure you're going into the corner. That's perfect. And then just tighten it down. You must take these off when you're done unless someone is right behind you. Okay, so this is a bit of an ordeal, but it's much easier than making your own coils. That takes forever. And they're nice and uniform. Okay, so now that we have those in place, we're now gonna take this by holding, we're gonna basically put one hand here to like push up and away, like this, and then just let it kind of sit there, right? And when you put the clay in, cutting the clay into this kind of shape is the best. So using that big block and just cutting it into like a quarter is the best. And then we go ahead and just put this in, this big long tube. And then we move this over. Like I said before, it can be a little tricky. You probably use a little WD-40 on there just to loosen that up. But then this is where you need to get that into position and down. Don't force it, like don't really like struggle too much. If you're really struggling, come and get me. So be careful not to pinch yourself when you do this, but you want one hand to pump while the other hand is guiding. So you see how my left hand is actually guiding and the right hand is, the right arm is pumping. You're not gonna, oh, their clay's gonna come out of here in just a moment. We need something to catch it with. Personally, I think putting a bag down there, should have been ready with that, sorry. Grab another bag. Okay, so you'll do the same thing, where you'll open up the bag on the seam. Find the side seam, and it will just rip really nice and easy. Lay that down here. So you're just going to basically be able to catch it. This is where having a second person is really handy, because as I start pumping, the clay is going to come out. And look at me, I'm really now coming, I'm actually having to put all my body weight on there, and then I'm going to do this, and you can see them coming out. At this point, you should then break a piece off just to make sure that they stay nice and pristine, right? So it's nice to have really long coils, but not so long that they get all tangled up on themselves, right? So I can keep going. Aman, you can start, and you'll see the clay coming out the side here. I actually like these. It's just a way for the air to, if you don't have those, then it just helps it to move out, I guess. So Iman, if you want to start coming in here and just start like laying them out, it's okay if they overlap a little bit. Kind of better if they don't. You can get a lot of coils fairly quickly by doing this. And I guess I have like one more pump. And now I'm at the end. Okay, so go ahead and rip those out. Wrap them up. I mean, you could get all futzy with it later, but just make sure that you wrap them really well, because if they dry out, you won't be able to use them, and you went through all that, and having to do it again, as you can see, is really a process. Okay, so make sure you wrap them nice and tight, no air coming through. Maybe even like tuck that plastic underneath, wrap it around nice, and you can just take that whole bundle to your shelf. Okay. Now we have to dismantle it and clean it. So now I'm going to have Aman help me. Poor Aman didn't know I was using her as an assistant today. So this time you're going to turn it righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, although I'm actually turning mine to the right. So if it's not loosening easily, try the other way. You're getting it. So all 4 clamps always have to be used. Don't get lazy on it, because if you get lazy and only use 2 clamps, it'll skew the whole thing and do a lot of damage. While Aman is actually struggling with that last clamp, I'm going to go ahead, not really struggling, you're doing a great job, you got it. I'm going to go ahead and start reversing. So this has to come out. That can go back in here. Make sure that you put,
I think the metal's
yeah, the metal's stuck, so we're going to talk about that. So the metal didn't come out with it. It might come out this way. So you see this is where you have to like kind of muscle it. You may want to get a friend to help. Okay, so the metal is stuck here. You should be able to just actually, why don't you bring the camera and look underneath and see what's happening. At this point, we're going to need to like get that metal piece out, and we're going to need to get that clay out of there. All right, so I'm going to take this out. And then generally, it's pretty easy to just get on in here with a scraper and just scrape that clay out. If you don't scrape this clay out, it'll just be dry for the next person, and it'll make kind of icky coils for them at first, and it's really no fun to have to deal with that. So always, always, always think about the next person. In the best case scenario, you have someone right after you, and it's not going to be your job to do it. But don't ever assume that, and please don't leave it for me. I find it really annoying because I am not your maid. Okay, so basically you want to get all that clay out by using a scraper, and then put all that extra clay that's like just crappy stuff now, excuse my language, we're gonna put in the recycling container over by the sink. And we're gonna take a moment and wipe all this down too. So yeah, clay is messy. That's it.